Hey guys, it's Josh Reviews. Don't mind me, I was just looking through some Halloween movies that I've reviewed in the past. Pumpkin Carver, Messengers 2, Jack-O-Lantern, The Hollow, Hollow's Ground, Dark Harvest, Dark Harvest, Dark Harvest 3. You know, those films apparently, sorry, there was something there. Those films are considered like, dumb Halloween B horror movies that you'd watch during Halloween time. I mean, you name it, every reviewer has reviewed, like every reviewer who like does a Halloween one for something, they've eventually gotten to at least one of those movies. For instance, my boy Jacob, Jacob Horror Movies or what he was called back in the day, he reviewed this movie. And while I was looking through his reviews, I found a movie called Mr. Halloween. Now, this cover always intrigued me because it's a clown. Come on, that's cool. But then I realized, after watching his review, he said it was a terrible film. In which case, I didn't want to review it. 2 years passed, and I decided, you know what? I'll review it. But man, when I was about to say pop in this movie, but I don't have it. When I started this movie, I got so afraid because this film literally looks like it was shot on a potato. The cinematography is terrible. So essentially what this movie is it's about a dude named Mr. Halloween who every year kidnaps kids and actually puts them in his backyard haunted attraction. He kills the kids, slices their body parts up, and uses them for the attraction. So I forget what the thing is. I think it's called a guillotine or whatnot. Where the executioners would pull the thing down and then the blade would chop off the head. Stuff like that in Game of Thrones. Yeah, just imagine that with a real person, a kid nonetheless. I'm not gonna lie, the concept of this movie is great. I love the whole, you know me, I love horror movies, Halloween-themed horror movies, where it's about a haunted attraction and the scares and the kills are real. I like that. Movies like House of Fears and Haunt and Hellfest, those are really good examples. I love those movies. Occasionally you get some bad ones, but is this movie good? Well, let's just say the Rotten Tomato score is terrible for this film. Everyone I know has said terrible things about this movie. It's not terrible, but it's not good. Things I like? Well, first of all, I already said I really like the story. In fact, I think it's kind of unique that it's a backyard haunted attraction instead of a regular haunted attraction. Overall, I thought that the main characters, for the most part, were likable, but that's mainly because they were kids, not because I liked them, but they were kids. It's like, anytime, you see a kid, it's like, you don't want it to get hurt because it's a kid. They're more innocent. They're more, dumbfounded. But you still don't want to see it happen. It's just like when we don't want a dog to die in a movie. Thank God for Shark Night. But it's like you don't want it to happen. You don't want it to happen because it's innocent, it's good, and you just don't want anything bad to happen. But this movie takes no, it doesn't hold back. It kills kids. Kid gets decapitated. A kid is literally stabbed through a spike. A kid is electrocuted. A kid's neck is snapped. So there is quite a bit of kids' death in this movie. It's no Goosebumps, that's for sure. But I did like the fact that they didn't hold back on that, but at the same time, fuck you for killing kids. I'm kidding. But something I will say that I really genuinely liked about this movie, Mr. Halloween and his haunted attraction, they were really cool. They were really well done. Mr. Halloween is actually creepy. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the music or if it's the shitty way the movie's filmed. But the whole atmosphere of the haunted attraction and the way he does things and the unpredictability of what he could do to you it's very well done, and I actually think that Mr. Halloween was genuinely creepy in this moment. So it adds another layer of tension when a kid is in danger or put in harm's way. It's like, oh shit, he's coming, and this movie is actually creepy in some parts. There's a scene where a kid is hiding from Mr. Halloween, and he pokes his eye out, and the sound effect was very well done. It was like a big loud sting, kind of like when Michael Myers shows up. It's like, doo. It's like when that happened. It's like, oh shit, that's Michael Myers. But in this case, it's Mr. Halloween. So, it was actually well done. I actually got creeped out. And there were a few scenes where when a kid was getting killed, it wasn't done, at least in my opinion. It felt like, because the way the movie was shot, it was shot poorly. Let's just get that out of the way. This movie's poorly filmed and poorly acted. But I'll get into that in my dislikes in just a second. But because the whole film feels like it was filmed on a potato, it reminded me of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where it has this snuff film vibe, or like an old 70s, 80s slasher. It reminded me of that, so it made it feel more authentic, and it just worked. It just worked, in my opinion. This movie at times was creepy. And like I said, even though the kid acting is not good, there were a few times where the kid actors gave some decent performances. I think one actor actually didn't do too bad of a job, but he's only in it for like a few minutes, and he dies. Now on to my dislikes. First of all, let's address the elephant in the room. Everyone who's reviewed this movie has agreed on one thing. This movie's too damn long. This movie is 1 hour and 51 minutes. Why is this movie that long? There are a lot of scenes that could be cut from this movie. There are a lot of scenes. There's a scene where 2 cops talk to a mom whose child is missing. But it literally adds nothing to the movie. We already know that the kid is missing. We already know that these 2 cops have most likely talked to the mom. We don't necessarily need to see it, especially if there's no information being shared with us to the audience. It doesn't add anything. You could have cut that out and made it like a quicker scene where the 2 officers are driving. They're like, hey, what, did you get the mom's report? Oh yeah, I got the mom's report. Like, you could have done something like that. And like I said, the acting in this movie, for I'd say 8-9% of the time, is not good. It's not good. But you know what? There were some lines in here that did make me laugh. And I just had a blast. Something I could say is, I know a lot of people complain about the length of this movie. I do too. It is incredibly long. It doesn't need to be almost 2 hours. It doesn't need to be 2 hours. But I will say this, a lot of people said they were bored with this movie. I actually wasn't bored. I was engaged with the story. I don't know if it was because I thought some parts were funny or if I thought the story was engaging. I don't know what it was. I just wasn't bored during this movie. That's my personal preference. Everyone's different, of course. Everyone likes certain movies and everyone hates certain movies. Some people hate Jaws. I don't get that, but it's whatever. So maybe you'll find this movie boring, but I don't know. Overall, I think that's about it. I think there was some dumb decision making, but every horror movie has at least one bad decision, so I'm not gonna use that as a complaint. Though I will admit there was one time where I literally scratched my head. The officer had his gun pointed at 2 kids, and then after that, he literally wanders off instead of helping the 2 kids. And then he ends up dying. It's just retarded. And that's not really a spoiler. I mean, you can see it from a mile away coming in the movie. But guys, I'm gonna go ahead and give this movie you know what? I'll go in the middle. I'll go in the middle ground. Yeah, fuck it. I'll give this movie a C+. I'll give it a C+. I'm fine with that. Personally, I don't think it was terrible. I think personally, if this director, because I don't think the director did anything else after this. I think if he had a bigger budget, better named actors, and maybe he learned how to shoot a film better, you could have a genuinely good film on our hands. We would have a genuinely good film, because this movie does have a lot of good moments and potential to become a good slasher horror movie. Guys, this is the last time you're going to see this beautiful hair. I'm going to get a haircut, so I'll catch you when I get the haircut. Bye, guys. Come on, Mr. Jacko. We got to go review some more movies.